לחם, אוכל, כל זה היה תלוי אם תבוא שיירה מתל אביב.
We started with military operations to make sure that the road between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem will not be endangered by the big villages or towns that were along the road, wherefrom came all the attackers on the convoy.
A special Haganah brigade was formed to open the road to Jerusalem.
The system was to attack the village, to give warning to the civilian, to destroy the village. And by the elimination of the villages alone and adjacent to the road, we were sure that there would be no attacks.
The Jews tried to seize Kastel, a village controlling the road to Jerusalem.
It was a Palmach unit, my troops, that captured the Kastel. And it was here that Abdel Kader el-Husseini, the Palestinian leader, was killed.
Enraged, Husseini's soldiers went to recover the body of their leader.
The Arabs counterattacked. Our reinforcements were wiped out. It was a very black day.
Down the road from Kastel, there would be another battle that day.
The Irgun and Lehi forces were ordered to take Deir Yassin.
Their loudspeakers blared out, "Lay down your arms. Run for your lives." Then I heard our machine gun. I was kneeling down like this.
The village was not the soft target the Jews had expected.
From the windows of their houses, Arabs were shooting at our soldiers. And from a force of 132, we had 42 wounded and 6 dead.
We gathered in Jerusalem at the Hebron gate. We checked who was missing and who had survived. Then the Palestinian leaders arrived, including Dr. Khalidi.
I asked Dr. Khalidi how we should cover the story. He said, "We must make the most of this." So he wrote a press release stating that at Deir Yassin, children were murdered, pregnant women were raped, all sorts of atrocities.
Arab radio stations passed on the false reports, ignoring the protests of the witnesses.
We said there was no rape. He said we have to say this so the Arab armies will come to liberate Palestine from the Jews.
This was our biggest mistake. We did not realize how our people would react. As soon as they heard that women had been raped at Deir Yassin, Palestinians fled in terror.
Have you heard about the Halabja massacre? The Iraqis attacked Halabja with chemical weapons. It was the worst chemical weapon attack on civilians ever. 5,000 Kurds died. Many are still suffering from the consequences of the attack, which took place in 1988. I guess that most of you have never heard about it, seeing as nobody ever bothers to mention it. Let's have a look at Google. There are about 50,000 results for the Halabja chemical attack. How many results do you think that the Battle of Deir Yassin will have? This was a tiny battle that took place 75 years ago in 1948 when Israel conquered the village of Deir Yassin and around 50 to 100 Arabs died. Deir Yassin has more than 400,000 results. How can you make sense of the fact that a tiny 75-year-old battle gets about 10 times more information published about it than the worst chemical attack on civilians ever? My answer is that if Muslims die and you can't blame Israel, then just isn't that interesting. Nobody cares, not even the Muslims.